Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let's take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome to Wisconsin Family. I'm Justin Riley.
And I'm Jessa Jeremiah, and we have a fabulous show for you today.
As always, we're here at the Beer Stube here at Capitol Brewery in Middleton.
Our second time actually filming here, and what a lovely place to film.
Yeah.
We've got us a nice spread in front of us here.
We sure do. I think there's actual drinkable beer on the other side.
Yeah,
of
we're going to get to that in a minute.
So, yeah, we will in just a minute.
Just a minute.
You'll see that they'll be gone in the next segment. So,
yeah, that's right.
but yeah, we'll be talking with them. It's actually a kind of exciting day. There's kind of electricity in the air here because they've got their beverage distributors meeting annual.
Yes.
It happens once a year, and we just happen to be here this day.
We happened upon them, and we're going to learn a lot about exactly what goes into that process. So there's a lot of steps to be taken to ensure that the quality of Capitol Brewery beer is met all the way through to the consumer, and we're going to learn a little bit about that process in a little while.
The three-tier system, as I understand.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
So make sure you stick around for that. We're also going to be giving you some tips about financial planning. Our friend from Trinity Financial is going to join us and talk a little bit about charity and family giving. That is perfect timing for the holidays.
Yeah, and who knew that charitable giving or giving to your family could be part of your financial plan.
Right.
That's very cool, very
Absolutely.
cool. And of course, we'll be joined by our good friend Lori Aitken from Pegasus Games. She always brings some great games, and she's going to talk about some things that you can buy for gifts for the holiday season and some events that she's got coming up at Pegasus.
That's
as
right.
well, so.
Can't wait to chat with her. It's all right here at the Beer Stube at Capitol Brewery on Wisconsin Family, so stick around.
'Cause every day is a new day. 'Cause every day is a new day.
And welcome back to Wisconsin Family, and here we are again at Capitol Brewery. Not
are.
outside, but inside.
We are inside staying warm and smelling the hops. It all smells delicious, doesn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely does, especially at this time in the morning. We film in the morning, so of course that makes my mouth water a little bit. But anyways, we are joined now by Lori Aitken from Pegasus Games. Lori, welcome back.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, you bet. And as we know, of course, the holidays are fast approaching, and there's a certain holiday that starts with a C that's coming up. And when does that season start at Pegasus?
Well, at Pegasus, we try not to mention that word until after Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. You play
That's
by the
tasteful.
rules. Yes,
Yes, Thanksgiving gets to be its own holiday.
Yeah.
Good for you. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about, since we're talking Thanksgiving, since it gets its holiday, what about all that shopping madness, Black Friday? Do you guys get into that, or how does that work over at Pegasus?
Well, first we try to help people find games that they can play with their family and friends when they do the Thanksgiving gatherings. And I've brought some of those here. Some of these are large group games and very popular for families. Some are very good with intergenerational games. All ages can play.
That's really good because you can get the youngsters in all the way up to Grandma and Grandpa.
Yes, Ticket to Ride and Quack-a-Doodle-Moo are very good for that.
Quack-a-Doodle-Moo.
Quack-a-Doodle-Moo.
Yeah.
Cute.
Ticket to Ride, I've played that game before. That is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and I've set it up here. You draw cards to decide which cities you want to connect, and then you have to get matching cards to buy your trains to place on the map.
Oh, interesting.
And when the map is full, then the person with the most trains connecting the most cities that match their cards gets lots of points.
Yeah, the goal is to kind of create a network of trains. Then. That's
How
very
neat.
cool.
And you can daydream about all these visits that you've had
Yes, you
as
can.
well. That's what I'd be doing.
So what do you got going on after Black Friday?
Well, actually on Black Friday,
okay.
don't get ahead of us here.
Sorry.
We have our own version of a doorbuster sale. We open at 10 o'clock usually, but on Black Friday we open at 6, and from 6 to 10 we have our We're Open So Early, We're Still in Our Pajamas sale.
Yes.
Oh, that's super.
So the staff wear their pajamas, and any shoppers brave enough to come in their pajamas get 25% off their purchases.
Brave enough. That sounds like a great idea.
Some people are still too chicken.
I don't want to have to change at 6 in the morning.
That's right.
I'm
And
usually
we're-
in my pajamas by 6 p.m. the day before on Thanksgiving.
We have customers that
Stay
bring
in
us
your pajamas.
We have customers that bring us cookies, and we have morning buns, and
cool.
Steep and Brew is down the corner. So
Nice.
So since Justin's so antsy about
Yeah.
after Thanksgiving, do you have something going on after the Black Friday rush?
well, we still have our everyday gaming going on. So there's something going on every day of the week. Some have multiple games being played. And we've instituted a new game, which is our Wednesday gamers. Since most of our games are in the evening, this takes place during the day for retirees and other adults that have nothing else to do.
Or night jobs.
Or night jobs. And we have games. We have a game library available, and we also will be available to teach games.
How fun.
So that's on Wednesdays from 1 to 5.
Okay.
Very cool.
There's always something going on. You
There
guys are
is.
so busy. I love it.
Just before the holidays, the last Saturday before that sea holiday, we have Calypso Christmas, because we figure everyone's sick to death of,
She said
of
it.
carols.
She said the
I
C word.
did.
Yeah.
But we play Calypso music, and we wear our Hawaiian shirts, and we have little umbrellas to put in people's sodas if they buy one.
How fun
Try to
is
make it feel like it's
that?
not quite so cold and wintry.
Not cold and wintry, and not fun instead of frantic.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
Fun instead
That's
of
what it's
frantic.
all
That's what
about.
we
People
like.
feel so much more laid back in that kind of calypso type of atmosphere. So.
I do, so
Yeah.
it works.
Absolutely. So, as we're getting closer to Christmas, you guys got some festivities coming up. I hate to jump the gun again, but as we get past Thanksgiving, past Black Friday, you guys got some more festivities coming up.
Other than the Calypso Christmas, it's pretty much everyday shopping.
Okay.
But we will do our best to find the games that people either want to play with their families and friends or give as gifts. Like I said earlier, I've brought some of those. Ticket to Ride has always been a very popular game at the holiday time, as well as a game called Catan and another called Carcassonne.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a three-way run for what's the most popular. And Mysterium is coming up hot on the heels of everything else.
This is Mysterium here that we
One
see.
player plays the ghost and is trying to communicate to the investigators only with images on cards how they were killed, where they were killed, and who did it.
Oh, wow.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it's quite a mystery game.
This is like Clue, but much more interesting.
You have to use some intuition instead of just looking at the cards.
very cool.
It's really a fascinating game.
Yeah, and that's Mysterium. Very
Mysterium.
cool. Very
Lots
cool.
of great gift ideas, and I just think it's so nice to have something like this on hand when you've got family over. It's such a great way to get together.
Yes,
and do
I mean, you
something.
can play the game and you can chit chat and talk
Yeah.
and
Turn
actually
the TV
have
off, dang it.
Face-to-face
absolutely.
interaction.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
Thanks,
absolutely.
Lori. We appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome.
Lori
Thank
Aitken
you.
from Pegasus Games, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks.
Don't go away, there's more Wisconsin Family coming up right after this. Stick around.
'Cause every day is a new day. 'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We are filming here in the Beer Stew at Capitol Brewery. And
Yes, we are.
in a little bit, we're going to chat with those folks and learn a little bit about distribution and where you can get your latest and greatest edition of Capitol Brew.
Latest and greatest.
The latest and greatest. They're always brewing something up. In fact, they are doing just that right behind us. And you may recognize this familiar and friendly face. This is John Shear with Trinity Financial Planning. And you always bring us such great information. Thanks for coming back and blessing us with your presence and your knowledge once again.
Well, great to see you guys again.
Yeah, glad to have you. So let's talk a little bit. We got holidays coming up here, so people are starting to think gifts, which comes along with money and saving and all that kind of stuff. Let's talk about giving and how does that fit in with financial planning?
Well, sure. We deal a lot with giving with our clients. You know, the traditional financial advisors, their job is to bring in assets and have people, make investments for them. Right? We work on a fee-only basis, so it doesn't make any difference where the people's money is. We actually talk a lot with people about how you use that money. And the two main areas we deal with giving, and as it relates to Thanksgiving time, is giving money to charity and making gifts to family.
Got it. Yeah, and this is a great time to give money to charity too, so it's an important thing to actually kind of write into your plan.
Yeah, a lot of people are kind of publicizing, a lot of charities are kind of publicizing that type of thing at this time of year. So what planning aspects are there about giving to charity? I mean, it's not very complicated to write a check for a nonprofit or something like that, so talk to us a little bit about that.
That's right. It can be very basic, but there are a couple tricks that we use or a couple little things that can be helpful. Last time I was on, we talked about valuing the things that you give to charity properly. When you give clothes and toys and things and
that
games,
was so
things like that.
insightful. I love that.
So and we do still have a couple of those books available. We had great response, but if anybody's interested, they can get a free book by coming to our website.
Awesome.
But so the IRS says that you can take a deduction for making donations, but they don't tell you how to value that, and so doing that properly can be a big help.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other tool or technique that we talk with people about is using what's called a donor advised fund.
Yeah.
And that's sort of like a mini foundation, layman's terms, it's a mini foundation. You don't have to be a Rockefeller to set one up, but
Good.
you can
Yeah.
but you can do some things even with $1,000 and have it be sort of a legacy type of a thing. It's pretty neat.
Okay.
That's very cool.
That is. And so tell us, how is it using that donor advised fund, that's what it's called, right?
That's right.
To give to charity, is that better than just writing a check?
Well, it does a couple of things. It's not necessarily better, but there are some things that you can use. And what the donor advised fund is, it's a place you can store money and make a tax deductible donation, and then that money can grow over time. And you can involve, we have people involve their kids in giving, like at Thanksgiving time. Hey, we've got this much money, how much are we going to give, and where are we going to give it, and why do you want to give to those places? Things like that. And
nice.
so it's something that can build up over time and make a what might be a smaller gift more impactful.
Right.
And then there's also can be some tax advantages for people who have investments that have grown over time. Rather than writing a check out of your checkbook, those people can give their stock to the donor advised fund, and they take an extra tax deduction is what it amounts to.
Okay, so it's a way for that money to grow because you're essentially setting it aside as a gift-giving opportunity for later.
That's right. That's
Okay,
right.
I like
That's not, for Senator Cole or somebody with a big foundation that grows and say, oh, the Oscar Mayer Foundation gave this money. I mean, that's sort of a thing, but on a micro level that regular people can use.
Nice.
You mentioned giving money to family. Tell us more about the financial planning aspects of giving money to family.
Well, sure. Some of the aspects are similar to what we talk about with giving to charities, in that involving the kids in things is a big part of that. And especially if you look down the road and think that your kids and your college-age kids are going to be getting an inheritance at some point, giving them some money and allowing them to make some mistakes and make some decisions on a small amount before they get a great big amount down the road can be useful. And just with money management and things like that. The other thing is giving kids some of that, if we have those investments that have grown, to give those to the kids where they might be in a lower tax bracket can be some advantages to that also.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And let's talk a little bit about, since we're on the family topic, what's the difference, or are there differences or things to consider comparing giving to family and giving to charity?
Sure. I mean, some of the things are similar concepts, but then when you're talking about giving to family, one of the things that we recommend people do quite often is when you've got kids that are earning income, to give them a gift and use that to fund a Roth IRA. You know, when you're 17 or 21, you're not thinking about funding retirement, but for parents or grandma and grandpa to give that money and say, hey, we can put that into a Roth IRA, that money can then grow for retirement, or they can use it for college if they need it, or they can use it for a house. It's got some flexibility. So that's one place where giving to family and using that Roth IRA can be a really great thing.
How smart.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big ones. The other one we talking about college, is that there are limits on what you can give to a person each year, $14,000 currently. If you write a check to pay for college education or to pay for medical expenses, that doesn't count as part of that annual gift limit. And so when you've got some unique situations that you might want to, instead of giving your grandson a check so he can pay for college, you write a check directly to the college, and that can have some advantages.
How interesting. What great tips.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, John.
Yeah,
Very
always
helpful.
always good to talk with John Shear from
It
Trinity
is,
Financial. Thank you so much.
Thank
when
you.
we come back, I think we're going to be talking with Capital Brewery.
We are. We're going to talk to their distributors about where you can buy Capital Brewery here in the South Central Wisconsin area. It's all next on Wisconsin Family.
'Cause every day is a new day.
Hey folks, welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We are so excited to be here at the Beer Stube of
We are.
Capital Brewery here in Middleton, Wisconsin.
And how fitting now we have beer in front of us.
We do have beer in
We're
front
ready.
of us. It's never too early. And we We're so blessed today because today, I guess, is the annual meeting of all of the distributors for Capital Brewery. And we're joined now by, we've got two guests with us today who are from out of town. So we have Eric from Lewis Glen's Beer. He's the craft brand manager. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you very much.
And then we have Jake, who's Vice President of Sales for Clear River Beverage. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Clear River Beverage is based out of the Twin Cities, and Lewis Glen's is based out of Chicago.
That's correct.
So we're going to kind of get two perspectives here on Capital Brewery and some other markets, and kind of meet.
Yeah, it'll be really cool. So talk to us a little bit about what brought you guys here today. I know we mentioned that a little bit, but kind of talk to us about what that's all about.
Sure, absolutely. So today is an annual meeting that Capital Brewery has. So all the distributors from around the state of Wisconsin, as well as their other markets, come in. We kind of talk about what happened in 2015 and looking forward to future plans for 2016.
And that was perfect that we kind of happened upon this, because it'll be nice to get a little bit different perspective. And also, I'm curious kind of what your two roles are. So talk to us a little bit of what does a vice president of sales do, and then what does a craft brand manager do? Talk to us about that.
Well, my primary job is to just make sure that we're cascading our brand plans to our team. So we, make sure that we have the right plan in place first of all, and working with our suppliers, which is one of the reasons we're here today.
Right.
And then just making sure that our teams are informed, motivated, and making sure that we're executing in the marketplace mainly.
Love that. That's great. And how about yours?
A lot like Jake. I sort of work as a brand manager, but as a liaison between the breweries that I represent and our sales force directly. So any sort of new packages that are coming to the market, I sort of then let our immediate staff know in Chicago. Then they take it out to the street and sell it from there.
I find that so fascinating how many people it takes to ensure that everything is getting put into place correctly, and it's so smart that there are people out there that's ensuring that the brand is well represented, that the product is well represented. There's really a lot that goes into it, and that's really nice for consumers to know that when they get Capital Brewery, whether it be at a grocery store or a bar, that they're going to get a consistent product, right? Is that kind of part of it?
Well, and that's kind of the beauty of the three-tier system that's set up. And I know it's state by state, it's a little different. For us in Minnesota, it's very structured, where then the supplier can focus on what they do best and making great product. We can focus on what we do best and get the product to the retailers, and then the retailers can focus on what their strength is, which is satisfying the end consumer. So it's really a great system, and it's proved to work over since Prohibition.
And that's that three-tier system.
Yes.
The brewer takes care of making great beer. You guys take care of distributing it, and then the retailer, I guess, takes care of making sure that the customer is happy.
And then the fourth, which is us, the consumer.
The most important.
That's the most important tier right there.
Right.
So how nice you guys all have such a lovely partnership, and that's part of why you're here, is to continue that relationship.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, people get into this industry in different avenues and in different ways for different reasons. Some people, if you were from Milwaukee or St. Louis, you might start out with, one of the big beers. But a lot of people craft beers are so huge nowadays. I'm just curious to know, how did each of you get into this? What's your story and how you got into working with beer?
I started in what we would call the on-premise channel, so basically working restaurants and bars for a lot after college. Then I was a beverage director for a grocery superstore chain. Then from that I went to the distribution side. So kind of grew up through the industry, saw on-premise, saw off-premise, and then made the chance to move to distribution. With so many new packages from Capital, as well as so many other suppliers coming out, it is sort of crucial to have those kind of totem poles in place, so everybody kind of pass on that knowledge to the next person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I got started, actually this is my 20th year in the beverage business, and I just got lucky, I think. I started out actually delivering soda for a pop company, and then 3 years after that, I got hired with the company I'm with now, and started as a driver, and just kind of worked my way through the company, and it's been great. I couldn't imagine a better job to have, because it has everything that I enjoy. It's very competitive. It's a lot of fun, so it's a nice balance of of everything I was looking for.
Interesting experience.
And I find that people who work in this industry, and I can see this in both of you, are very passionate about what they do.
Oh, yeah.
They may not have intended to get into this industry, but once they get in, it's like, wow, this is a really, really cool thing to get into, and they get all this passion for it.
Agreed, yeah.
It is nice to see. It's also it's sort of easy to have that passion and kind of harness it because you get it back from the consumers when you're out talking. But if people they don't want to just kind of just knock them back and crush beers anymore, right? They want to really take a look and sip and savor and really enjoy what it is. When you've got fine, consistent quality packages coming out from Capital as well as lots of other breweries, they really want to get into it. It really kind of oozes the passion right out of the consumer.
Yeah, and I think just like what you said, and Justin hit the nail on the head with the craft beer industry becoming so big, it's about the experience. It's not just about, pounding a few back like you said.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I'm curious, before we go, I want to talk a little bit about the two different markets and kind of get a feel for where you're distributing to, and for folks out there as they're in different markets, where they can actually get Capital Beer, Capital Brewery. So let's start with Chicago. Where do you mainly distribute?
Sure. Capital's got great presence both on-premise and off-premise. So that means basically in bars and restaurants as well as the grocery channel, liquor store chains. Capital's great because they're a great value-added package as well as they've got some really high-end beers. They kind of have the whole gamut of products. So you can find them almost anywhere in Chicago.
Wow, that's
Nice.
incredible. How
Yeah,
about
in the Twin Cities, we have a little different kind of a marketplace. We're mainly packaged liquor driven. We don't have strong beer in C-stores and other places. So it's, but we are seeing a big change in our market with a lot of national chains coming in, and kind of to what was just mentioned. These guys are very, very well priced. The liquid they make is great. They've kind of rejuvenated themselves the last couple of years and going more IPA heavy, and that's something we've been very excited about in the Twin Cities. Because that is the biggest segment in the craft business right now. So it's been very nice that they have kind of innovated the last few years along with the market. So.
Yeah, well, they say if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. Is that
Yeah, I suppose.
is that the saying? So how about for you two personally? Do you have a favorite? What's your favorite Capital Brewery?
I think that either, as we just mentioned, their IPAs, either Grateful Red, the red IPA, or Mutiny, their traditional IPA. Both huge fans of that.
Mutiny, you gotta love that name
Absolutely.
too, right? How about yours? Your favorite?
I'm a big fan of the Ghost Ship,
Okay.
the white IPA, but and actually kind of take that to the next level. They've done a few, the Ghost Ship and the Grateful Red on Nitro in draft that I am a very big fan of.
Big
so
fan of
yes.
draft. Awesome. Well, it's all good stuff, and I'm sure as consumers are getting their beer from their various distribution locations, they'll be thinking of you now.
Absolutely,
So thanks for kind of giving us some insight into that. That's actually really interesting and fun to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. That's all the time we have today for Wisconsin Family. We've been here on location at Capital Brewery in Middleton at the Beer Stube. From all of us here, we'll see you next time.
Every day is a new beginning. Shine